Whew.
And don't try and cry, because if anyone should be crying, it should be me.
Really? So if anybody should be crying, it should be her. Sharon Osbourne says she'd like to turn her argument on the talk into a teachable moment. I very much want to listen to the youth, Osbourne told Entertainment Tonight in an exclusive interview which aired Tuesday. Do I have my finger on the pulse of what's going on with the Black situation in this country? Answer, no. The co-host is currently fighting back against accusations she has used racist and homophobic language while speaking about her former colleagues on the CBS talk show. The accusations were made Tuesday in a story written by a journalist, Ali, citing former talk show co-host Leanna Remy, who spoke on the record in the piece, and a number of unnamed sources. Ooh. So, spokesperson for Remy confirmed the accuracy of her statements as reported by Ali and declined further comment when connected to other sources. The only thing worse than a disgruntled former employee is a disgruntled former talk show host, Osborne's spokesperson, Howard, said in a statement. Oh boy. For 11 years, Sharon has been kind, friendly with her co-hosts, as evident by throwing them parties, inviting them to her home in the UK, and other gestures of kindness too many to name. Sharon is disappointed but unfazed and hardly surprised by the lies, the recasting of history, and the bitterness coming out at the moment. Remember now, you even have Holly Robertson Pete saying that Sharon called her ghetto. Okay? So the accusations and allegations became public just as CBS daytime talk show had gone on a brief hiatus following a heated debate last week between co-hosts Sharon Osbourne and Cheryl Underwood regarding Osbourne's support of her longtime friend Piers Morgan. And you already know what type of character Piers Morgan is, okay? So the Entertainment Tonight interview appears to have occurred before Ali's story was published, and Osbourne, who apologized on Twitter after her dust up with Cheryl Underwood, talked about feeling blindsided during the now famous run-in. But how could she be blindsided? You're on a talk show, so you know you're on a panel. You're going to get asked questions, especially about Piers, because you are friends with Piers. So how were you blindsided? Girl, cut the bull. You wasn't blindsided. You expected it, but you didn't expect this stink to happen when you popped off at the mouth. So Cheryl turns around and asks me this question, and she was reading it off of a card. Exactly. It wasn't on my cards. And then another co-host, Elaine, reading her questions, and I'm like, I've been set up. They're setting me up. My anger was like, I cannot believe this. I'm your sacrificial lamb. Really, girl? So Osbourne says moments before the show began, one of the showrunners asked if she would mind answering questions about Morgan and how she would feel if maybe one of the women doesn't agree with you. Osbourne said she responded, I will answer whatever they want me to answer. So exactly. So where is the problem here? If they came up to you, how were you blindsided? See, she's trying to beat you in the head and trying to do this okey doke on people. Now she's trying to say that she feels blindsided. But she just said in a statement that the people came to her and let her know. These are the people that are in charge of the show and people, the staff on the show came to her and said, would you mind if the staff, the other co-hosts ask you questions about Morgan? Because, of course, you are friends with Morgan. Is it a problem? She said, no, I will try to answer the questions. So where is the problem? Now she's going to say she felt blindsided because she didn't know the questions. But they already told you that there was going to be questions from the co-host about Morgan. So you weren't blindsided. You were giving a heads up. You knew ahead of time that these questions were coming, and you knew that these co-hosts was going to have these questions, and you knew that one co-host wasn't going to agree with you. So what part of the game did she not get? I know this is one big one. I'm big old strawberry. Mm, mm, mm. So I'm trying to figure out where was she blindsided? Because as far as I'm concerned, she wasn't blindsided. She was given a heads up. She was blindsided. And I feel like she's just grabbing on any straw that she could grab on, even if it don't make no sense. Next thing you know, she's gonna talk about, well, it was raining outside and I didn't have my umbrella, so that was the reason why I felt like I was blindsided because I didn't know it was going to rain. Girl, bye. But keep in mind, this should not come as no surprise because her daughter has been known to be insensitive and not think also. You know, the apple don't fall from the tree. Because remember, Kelly Osborne not only publicly shamed, remember when they had this issue with, remember they had that issue on that E show that they were on, the Fashion Police. They would make comments and stuff like that. Remember she was on that show, Kelly Osborne, and they used to always be in trouble for some of their comments on people. And remember when she went on The View? Who remember when Kelly Osborne went on that View? While appearing on The View, it was on a Tuesday, in the middle of a discussion about Donald Trump's approval rating, Kelly Osborne referenced his now infamous comments calling Mexican immigrants. It's something you can't even say. Okay? I mean, rhyme it with grape. Is okay. That's what she called. That's what she said. Okay. Osborne referenced. That's what she referenced. Okay. And she also said, if you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to clean your toilet? Donald Trump. There were a gasp as co-host Rosie. This was the time Rosie Perez was on there and said, "Oh, that's no. That's a no." Osborne immediately tried to backtrack that comment in the sense that you know what I mean. Like, but I'm saying that in LA, they always, in other words, they always cleaning toilets. She's trying to say these Latinos are always cleaning toilets. But Latinos are not that only, that they're not just that. That's what Rosie Perez said. Rosie Perez at the time, she was one of the hosts. She's like, that's not true. Right? And then Osborne, Kelly's like, no, I didn't mean it like that. Come on. I would never mean it like that, Osborne said. I'm not part of this argument. Then why'd you put your 2 cents in? You see what I'm saying? These Osborne women, they love to put their 2 cents in stuff. And then when they say comes out to be a little racist or comes out to be a little insensitive, all of a sudden they're like, time to backtrack. Time to backtrack. I'm telling you, if they could spin around with a cape and do the little backtrack, I'm telling you, they want to backtrack that. But this ain't the first go around for these Osbornes. Like, this ain't the first time these Osborne women have put their foot in their mouth. No. So, like people were saying, like, I think what you're saying that Trump himself probably relies on a lot of those people that he's insulting. That's what the co-host, Michelle Collins tried to clarify. The host moved on, but it was too late. After a lot of criticism, Osborne had to make a post on her Facebook. And she had to make one saying, I want to start by saying I always take responsibility for my actions. Okay? Doesn't it sound familiar? This soul song and dance sound familiar because it sounds familiar as what Sharon wrote. In this particular case, I will take responsibility for my poor choice of words, but I will not apologize for being a racist as I'm not. I wholeheartedly effed up today. There you go. I don't want the bullish. Damn, you see what I'm saying? They don't care. They don't. I don't want the bullish. Anyone with lame excuses. Although I was stopped mid-sentence by Rosie and couldn't finish my point, girl, don't put Rosie in there. I will not let Rosie take responsibility for my words. Exactly. I should have known better as I was on The View and it was live. In other words, she should have known better to speak her real truth. Mhm. I've learned a very valuable lesson. It is my hope that this situation will open up a conversation about immigration and the Latin community as a whole. By the way, I clean my own effing toilets. So the incident rings eerie familiar to Osborne's former co-worker on Fashion Police, who made comments about Zendaya's Coleman's dreadlocks on the red carpet, saying she felt that the 18-year-old actress smelled like patchouli oil and weed. Rancid apologized to Coleman. I'm sorry I offended you and others. Had nothing to do with race and never would. But her comments caused a huge controversy. Osborne, in particular, angrily tweeted up a storm, distancing herself from the colleague and eventually quitting the show. So exactly, this is the MO for the Osborne girls. Okay? This is the Osborne. This is the trend for the Osborne girls. See, like she didn't want to be dragged in that, so she was on Twitter. Kelly Osborne, when that happened, I will not be dragged into this. The situation being rectified like adults by both parties. I hope you can leave it to them and do the same. Exactly. So you know what? But you know what? It's she left. Kelly left her friend Juliana Arasic out to dry. She left her out to dry and then tried to drag her. Okay. Now she trying to use. Now this one over here, Sharon, is trying to use. Oh, it's Sherilyn's fault. Oh, it's this one's fault. It's that one's fault. I didn't mean it like that. Oh, they're using me as a sacrificial lamb. So now you can see the apple don't fall far from the tree. And this is a pattern with these women. And even even their apologies sound about the same. Damn. Even the apology sounds about the same. Tell you, she's a trip.
And don't try and cry, because if anyone should be crying, it should be me.
And that's what she says to Cheryl Underwood, who is a black woman who's been through how much we don't even know. Okay, so she don't deserve to cry about nothing because it's all on Sharon. It's Sharon's world. It's Sharon's situation, the same. They're the Osborne girls, man. They're cut from the same cloth. They make comments and they don't. They backtrack. They don't. They don't hold. They don't try to. They don't try to. They stand on their bras and stand on their heels and stand on for what they say. Sometimes you gotta jump on the sword for what you said. And keep it moving. But to come out here and say you're the sacrificial lamb, girl, bye. Then seriously, she done lost me with that BS. For real. Y'all comment below and tell me what y'all think. Okay, all right. All right, bye.